Hi, I'm Rip Caswell. This is my wife, Allison. We're both artists. We're a husband-wife team, and we do sculptures for people all over the country. We'll be leading you through the lost wax process on one of our sculptures, a large life-size elk. So this is our mold and wax room here. This is where workers add the wax and clay, and you can see all the different pieces and parts here as they assemble them. The first part of the process after we've created the original sculpture is to make a silicone rubber mold off of it.
Right now what you're seeing is an example of a mold, and so what it is a rubber silicone poured directly onto the surface of an original clay sculpture. This is cured to capture all of the negative impression. You can kind of see all of the fur negative impression right here. On top of the rubber, we have a fiberglass shell that maintains the structure of the rubber. From this, we'll pour wax into the mold.
We build up the waxes to about 3/16 of an inch thick. And once we pull those waxes out, we have to clean the seam lines, fix any imperfections, air bubbles, and so forth. Then we attach the artwork to a gating system. It's a cup with a main stem and channels running off to the artwork. This will become the artery system that will allow the metal to be poured into it. We pour through the cup, back fills up, and everything that you see here in wax will then be in bronze once it's cast. This is our slurry room. This is where we take the waxes. Once they've been finished in the wax room, they're chased, they're gated. They come into this department and we make a second mold off of it. The lost wax process is really a series of positive and negative mold making. This will be our second mold. It's a one-time mold. So we take these waxes, we dip them in a ceramic slurry, sprinkle silica sand over the art. They sit on the shelves and dry and cure. We do that for about 8 different coats, and that usually takes 3-4 days, maybe even longer, depending on the part and how quickly it dries.
So after the slurry room, everything will come out here. What we'll do then is we'll take the ceramic shell molds with the wax held inside of them, put them into our big burnout oven outside, heat that to about 800 degrees until all the wax will melt out of the cavity of the shell mold. And that's why it's called lost wax, is because the wax is literally lost out of the cavity of the ceramic mold.
This is our foundry bay. Once we've burned out the wax, we preheat those ceramic shells to about 800 degrees again, and we bring them in here. We heat up our bronze to 2000 degrees approximately. We pour that molten metal into those shells, and it flows down through, back fills up, and everything that was once in wax will now be in bronze.
After we pour the bronzes into the shell, we'll let that cool to room temperature, and we'll break all the shell off of the raw bronze casting. And so the sheep over there is a good example of something that still has some slurry stuck in the casting. We'll sandblast this off, clean it up, and then start welding the piece back together. So after the castings are all sandblasted and cleaned and prepped for welding, we'll start assembling the metal together with a TIG welder. And so we'll kind of jigsaw puzzle the sculptures back together, sand and grind the seam lines, and restore the textures to the original sculpted patterns of the artwork in clay.
So once the bronze is finished and it's received the artist's stamp of approval, it then moves into the patina process. And that is an oxidation process. Through using heat and chemical, we can control the colorations of the bronze. We have a whole variety of colors that we can apply. Different chemicals will react differently. Some of them react to one another and create just a whole spectrum of different colors on the bronze sculptures. Once the sculpture is to the desired color, we seal that with a carnauba wax, we polish it out, and it's ready to go to the galleries or to the collectors. So we've taken you on a long journey to cast a bronze sculpture. It's taken over a year to run this piece through the different stages from start to finish and finally create a bronze sculpture that is lasting, that will give years of enjoyment to the customer.